Guys, so All Stars, I wanted to give you a few tips as we are approaching the end of the semester on ways that you can make sure that you're exactly where you need to be in your online school progress. So when we get back from break, you'll have 3 weeks until we take another break, and then you'll have a week when we come back that actually goes towards this semester's worth of grades as well. So 4 weeks left. So we want to make sure that you're exactly where you need to be. And so for those of you who may be a little bit behind or you're just not sure, I'm going to show you how to calculate whether or not you're right where you should be. And if you're not right where you should be, how you can get caught up. So what I would recommend that you do first is that you get into your online school. This is just a demo. And you click on your progress. And when you click on your progress, I'd pick one of your subject areas. So say you're going to pick on, I don't know, composition here, okay? And when you do that, it's going to tell you what you have completed, what you have not mastered, what you have not completed, and what you have skipped. Now, the only things that count towards your progress in the OLS is your completed tab. So what we want to make sure is that your completed tab has everything in it that's on your pacing guide by the end of the semester. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. Also keep in mind that if you go to your Not Mastered tab, anything that is in Not Mastered doesn't actually count towards your progress. So you're going to want to make sure that those ones that you have not mastered, you either go back and master them before you move on so that you can get credit for those. Or, if you guys have decided with your learning coach that is just one unit, maybe two assessments, something like that, that you're not feeling really strong about and you're happy with like a 70 or something like that, that's a decision that you guys can make. But we don't want very many of those to fall into that category. We want most of them to be in the completed category. So when you click on the completed category, what you're going to do here, and here's kind of a sample of what yours might look like more for an 8th grade student. And this is literature. What you're going to do is you're going to compare what you have for literature completed with what the pacing guide says that you should have completed for literature. So here's our pacing guide for 8th grade. Now, depending on when you enrolled is where you'll kind of start looking. So most of you are going to start back and you're going to look at week 1, August 17th through the 21st. And what I would do is I would just go and I would see, okay, did I do what I was supposed to do in this column on the first week? So Unit 1, Lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would go back. It'd be easier if you have this printed out, in my opinion, so you can just quickly do this. And I would scroll and see, okay, did I complete Unit 1, Lesson 2, 3, 4, and 5? And I did. So then I could go back to my pacing guide, I could check that off, and then I could see if I've completed the next unit, okay? And I would do that for all of this column. Now say you get to 1, say you get to Unit 4, Lessons 5, 6, 7, and 8, and you realize you haven't completed it. I would highlight that. So you go back and what you realize is when you're looking at your completed tab here, you haven't completed that unit. I would highlight that on your pacing guide so that you know that you need to complete that before the end of the semester. Okay? You can do this with every subject area. Again, I would just print these pacing guides out. I'd take a pencil and I would check off the ones that I have on my completed tab in my progress and highlight the ones that I haven't completed. Once you have an idea of which ones you haven't completed, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to find a way to work those into your plan over the next several weeks. So let's go to this week. Say, okay, I am exactly where I should be as far as, I'm looking at November 30th through December 4th, and that's Unit 8 in literature, and that's what I'm going to complete before, and Unit 10, Lesson 1 and 2, before grades are pulled right here, end of quarter 2. What I would do is I would then go back and see how many units have I not completed and lessons have I not completed, and I would add those in and spread those out among these weeks as well. So say there are 5 lessons that I haven't completed from previous weeks. okay? I would add, maybe 2 lessons this week onto what I already have to do, another lesson this week, another lesson this week, and another lesson this week to get caught up in literature, okay? So that's kind of my tip. I would go back, see what you haven't completed on the pacing guide, and then spread those out over the next 4 weeks to complete them before the end of the semester. That way when we pull grades on January 6th, no, 8th, sorry guys, you will have completed everything in the online school that you need to have completed. Of course, you also need to make sure that you've completed your exit tickets and work samples for your courses as well. But keep in mind that 80% of your grade is making sure that you have completed everything on the pacing guide that is required. For those of you who enrolled later, you're just going to do the exact same thing, but go back to your start date. So say your start date was October 5th, and you would just make sure that you've completed everything from October 5th on. Okay? If you guys have any more questions, feel free to let me know, and I hope that this is a help and that you take some time to really analyze where you currently are in your online school, and that if you are behind, that you know it, and if you need some help getting back on track, that you use these tips to kind of develop your own plan to get back